Welcome in, Danny and Dusty. Still no orangutan today. We do have a Will Ortner. Will Ortner coming in, pinch hitting. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm okay. We had a weird morning this morning. This happened a couple months ago, and it's one of those, you have those little scares. My daughter fainted, and so we had EMTs. I live by the credo, it's never good to have 911 in your call log.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one to live by. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
Seems fair.
Yeah.
That's a good baseline.
Seems, I set my bar low. That way when I just stumble over it, I've accomplished something in a day.
Yeah.
I did not accomplish that today. So we had the EMTs over, and we took our daughter. We didn't have to go to emergency room. They just came and they did all. And Hillsborough Fire Department, I'm golf clapping them.
Absolutely.
They were awesome. They came in and they checked all the vitals and made sure she was not in an emergency situation. But it's never a good thing to wake up to, your daughter fainting in the middle of your kitchen. But what we took our daughter to the doctor, and it was we found out that apparently there's some phenomenon mostly in girls, right, where when they are getting their hair done, and if your head is positioned in a weird way or something, it can induce fainting spells. I was not privy to this until the first time it happened, but we went back to the doctor and okay, so second time this has happened, and she obviously has her hair done far more often than once every couple of months. Got to get that out there.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Dad of the year over there.
I was not in charge of this one, but because I can't be trusted with hair.
You can't braid?
I can, but my wife is great at it. But
more experience.
With far more experience.
Yeah, just a touch.
Doesn't have the janky ponytail game either. It just looks like, hey, it's good enough. Get out there.
You'll be fine.
I'm more of during a soccer game or basketball game. You need something quick, got this. You're out.
I have a terrible mustache. I look like a conquistador.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I do have terrible mustache. But we took my sweet daughter to the doctor today, and they're like, well, 2 times in a row, how about we do this? No more standing when we're doing there. It's yeah. Now, thinkers.
I do have to wonder a little bit too, how much of this is also, you said she's usually standing. How much of this is due to because you see the soldiers, especially the British ones, the British Royal Guard, that they may pass out after a while, and they always say, don't lock your knees.
Oh yeah, that happened one time at one of my concerts, second grade concert.
So is it a double whammy there where she's locking her knees and the head
maybe
posture and position?
I often think that those videos are hilarious at the grooms at weddings will often do that too.
Yeah.
They'll lock out their knees. It's timber.
Oh, and see, I remember even before, as we were waiting to go down the aisle when I got married, they said don't stand there. Don't lock your knees.
Mm-hmm. Don't lock your knees.
You will pass out.
Have a nice little knee.
So
bend.
Jeff Rust ran high knees in place.
Yes.
As he was walking down the aisle. Just make sure those knees weren't locked.
Yeah, goose stepping and lockstep. No, wait, that's not right.
Just kept doing RDLs the whole time.
So we're good though now, man. We're good. We're
that's good.
Rocking and rolling. Everything is good. And
that's good.
We're
most important.
Everything is all right.
That's good stuff.
It was a minor scare, but we're here. That's why we called Will. It was about to be Will and Rust today because Danny is still out. Look, this upper respiratory infection, no joke. I know it sucks.
Yes.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Well, because I know what I've had the last couple of weeks, and he's got it worse.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get him back very soon. But you are here today.
I am here today.
How are you?
No one passed out.
Good.
I don't tie my hair back anymore. Those days are long gone.
You don't have any.
Well, I did at one point. Then went to the gym.
You could do a nice little skullet.
There's no chance
I think that'll take a while.
Ever.
Hulk Hogan did it?
No, Hulk Hogan's an idiot. I love Hulk Hogan.
He's not wrong there.
He's a hero. He saved a teenage, I think it was a teenage woman the other day.
Rollover car.
He broke her out with a pen.
I know.
He broke her out with a pen. He's a hero.
What you gonna do with those 28-inch pythons?
Do you
horrible hairstylist?
Do you think that when Hulkster breaks out that window and pulls that girl out. He goes, "You must have ate your vitamins and said your prayers last night." Like, do you think he did his little Hulkamania?
I think I would get in a car wreck just to have Hulk Hogan pull me out. Like, if you told me I had a 25% chance, I'd go get in a bunch of car wrecks just to have Hulk Hogan come save me.
Yes.
Yes.
Dude, nothing
Best song
gets
ever.
me going like wrestling intro songs.
Yeah.
They're all great.
Yeah.
Specifically this one.
Yeah.
This one is great.
All-timer.
You got Brett Michaels, "I'm a Sexy Boy." Or wait. Nope, Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak
Oh
Kid.
God, I wish I
Not
didn't
Bret
have.
Michaels.
I wish I didn't have music under that when you said that.
The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, "I'm a Sexy Boy."
Yeah.
Boy.
That I ain't your
Stone
boy
Cold.
toy. Stone Cold,
The
Undertaker, The Rock. I mean, Ultimate Warrior. They're all great.
The Ultimate Warrior's greatness.
Well,
Get
then, of
me
course,
with a
yeah.
Ric Flair.
You've also got this. Too. Yeah.
Yeah, Stone
That's
Cold.
Stone
Yeah,
Cold.
Yeah, this is Stone Cold. When you hear the when you hear the glass break,
Yeah.
oh buddy.
Oh,
Or when you hear, "Can you smell what The Rock is cooking?"
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better
You
than
know what?
those
Meet you on the
three.
corner of Jabroni Way and Know Your Way Boulevard.
Rust, I am 100%. I'm calling a hot route on you today.
Okay.
Dude, all wrestling songs?
All wrestling songs.
Yes.
All wrestling songs. You can
Okay.
text them in on the Vancouver Ford text
Yes,
line.
please do, because I'll need some help to go digging some things out.
503
I'll do my best.
864-6326. You degenerates in the YouTube chat, you all can get in there, youtube.com/1080am the fan or twitch.com/1080am the fan. It all goes to the same place over there on Russ computer. Get your wrestling theme songs that you want in, because I think we may have unlocked. I mean, we're going to have to do, like, John Cena's a big deal. We're going to have to get John Cena.
John Cena is a big deal. Not only is he a big deal, but he's just a good ass dude too.
No, he's not. Have you
he's not?
seen his
what?
reality
Whoa.
TV show?
Oh
No. He has a reality TV
He
show?
had a reality TV show, and he made Nikki Bella look like the normal, sane person. He was on Total Bellas.
John Cena, not a good dude.
The word. So annoying. Like, he's not a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
He's like super annoying. She tries to make him a dinner in one of the episodes, and he's all upset because he keeps worrying that there's going to be stains. He has a special, like, this is the dirty laundry that we work out in. This is the dirty laundry that we don't work out in. And he, like,
Well, it sounds like
walks
they're
her
airing the
through
dirty
it.
laundry on the airwaves.
Wait a minute.
No, he
has
sucks.
he has workout dirty laundry. What kind of stank
Yes.
does he have going on?
Dude, he's an insane person. He's like a clean freak.
Well,
He
he's
doesn't-
OCD.
He is a wrestler. They're
He's
always
got-
all oiled up and stinky anyway.
Well, but like even like workout gear, it's
You
completely
don't want to
different.
get the body oil all over your other.
See, now previously, my
laundry.
only issue with John Cena was that they tried to cast him as Vin Diesel's brother in the Fast movies. Like,
He kind of looks like him.
no.
If you squint and turn your head really
listen,
hard.
those two are
Short
worlds
steroids.
apart. I'm sorry, those two are worlds apart.
What was that train wreck? The movie with Amy
Amy
Schumer.
Schumer. Yep.
LeBron was in it.
That is my favorite scene of all time.
That made me appreciate John Cena
The
because
movie
he has a
theater?
little sense of humor.
He is-
Little sense of humor.
He is funny. In
You know.
that reality TV show, he sucks. Nikki Bella should have been the one that sucked. Nikki Bella should have been the annoying one. Nikki Bella should have been the one where you're like, really? This piece of garbage is on TV?
Yeah.
And
Wow.
John Cena was the villain. I saw like 3 episodes. Every single one of them, I went, this guy sucks.
All right.
But he's really cool he does like really good charity work.
Oh, he is the Make-A-Wish Foundation's #1. So he is a good dude.
He's a good dude.
He
His
has
personality
granted so many wishes.
Yeah, like more than anybody else, correct?
Here's,
Yeah.
He's the
here's what
record
I'm going to
holder.
do. I'm not going to say piece of garbage. He's a bad hang.
bad
he's a
hang.
bad hang.
Not
Okay,
a
well,
dude's
that's
dude.
different.
I
Not
don't
a,
want
not
to
a
hang.
dude's dude.
He's
Yeah.
not a girl's dude either. He's bad hang. I don't want to hang out with John Cena.
Well, and look, let's
Apparently he
face it.
smells.
Well, let's
You
face
got
it.
2 dirty laundry piles. He probably stinks.
A lot of these people that get that famous,
Yeah.
they've got their quirks
Well, and
and
because
their eccentricities and
Yes.
peccadillos.
well, especially when you're like John Cena and you're supposed to be like the all-American boy.
right.
He's like Russell Wilson levels of image conscious.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like he probably doesn't want anything out there where people actually know who he is. Like his laundry. Where because he had two different laundry piles, Will's like, he's a horrible person.
No.
What the hell?
That's not what I said. No.
You call him a bad dude. You're like, not a good dude.
He's not a good dude.
Not a good dude. He's got two piles of dirty laundry.
That's not
Bad
what
dude.
made him a bad dude. Him mansplaining it to Nikki Bella and then like being super mean to her when she didn't do it that right way, I found as bad guy. Didn't like it.
Well, listen.
Anti.
When they don't do it right, you got to make sure to tell them.
No.
We don't
That's
need
going to get us
Canceled.
all in trouble.
We don't
Canceled.
We don't need to fall down the stairs or run into a door again, right, Dusty?
Canceled.
As a feminist, I cancel you, Jeff Rust.
Yeah. Text line is already saying, Cena's a great dude. Stop it. You stop this slander. Is signed John Cena. Oh, no.
Just signed John Cena. The fake prank call is the greatest prank call of all time, though. The John Cena prank call.
I don't know what that is.
You've never seen the John Cena prank call? It's fantastic. Basically, this mom doesn't let her son or her husband watch wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
So they call...
It's real to me, damn it.
Yeah, they call some local morning show, and they set up a whole prank where they just keep calling her over and over again, trying to give her free John Cena tickets. It's fake. It's a 4-minute video. It's hilarious. It's the best
You
thing
watched
ever.
4 minutes of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched and listened.
I couldn't
And
tell
they
you.
say the younger generation's attention span is too short.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what mine is, because I couldn't tell you the last time I watched a video longer than about 62 seconds on Twitter. Somewhere, it's always that minute mark.
And then you're just like,
I was like, I'm not watching this.
I'm out.
Yeah.
It's
Not
funny.
gonna do it.
It's worth it.
It's like that meme. It's like, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you. Or great, good for you. Sorry, I'm not reading all that.
Yeah, I ain't reading all that.
Yeah. No.
Which is the greatest response to anything, anybody. Like, if you get something long now, I have that photo and I'll just send it.
Yeah.
Just be like, yeah, I'm not going through that.
Yeah.
If I have to scroll your text message,
Yeah.
too long.
Nah.
Too long.
Yeah. It's got to be in one screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of too long not reading that, I had to send the wife a text earlier.
Okay.
Because I got here, I had food delivered, and I got up to go meet the DoorDasher at the door, and I realized my wallet was not in my pocket.
Wait, you didn't do phone, wallet, keys?
I apparently did not.
Well,
Yeah.
how do you not do that? Like, I have just trained going phone, wallet, keys.
Yeah, it's the old Austin
Like,
Powers,
do
the
it every
spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch.
That's right.
Yeah.
Boy, that's changed since the 60s.
Yeah, right?
Right?
So
Yeah,
so I got that. I got my sandwich back in here, and I was like, okay, well, maybe it fell out in the car or something. So I go out to the car, and it's not there. I'm like, okay, this is weird. I'm not used to not having my wallet. So I had to text my wife, and she found it somehow fell out of my pants on the bedroom floor. But it led me to this.
Wait, why were your pants?
My wallet had fallen out. Well, because when I get into bed, I take off my pants and put them on the floor,
'cause
right
he's
next to the
thick.
bed.
Well, I was just, okay.
All
right.
It's right at the foot of the bed. Whatevs.
Yeah. No, that's fine. You're good.
But
You're
so
good with that.
it led me to this
Okay.
because they were found near
Mm-hmm.
a pair of shorts. Why is it a pair of shorts, a pair of pants, a pair of underwear, but like a shirt? Nobody puts on a pant. There's not a pant. There's not a short. There's not an underwear.
Because you got the pair of leg holes.
You got a pair of armholes in a shirt, right?
Well, are they a pair? Is this like the straw theory? Like, are there two holes in a straw, or is it just one? So are
No,
they?
because that is one continuous hole.
So for
all
the
the way
shirt,
through.
because like your shirt, like your bottom to your head, is that not the same? The armholes, yes, those are two separate.
Oh, well.
But is there not a third? Well, I guess there would be a third, not a fourth hole.
But like nobody, and let's say that I put my pants on one leg at a time, one pant leg at a time. So you have a pant leg,
okay.
but nobody ever says a pant.
All right,
I'm gonna go put on my pant.
Okay, Google is
it's
telling
like
me
this
this comes from Britannica.com. So those encyclopedias have been digitized, just not to Wiki. And I'm going to tell you right now, the reasoning behind this, it includes the word Harkins. So,
Ooh,
yeah, okay.
So we're going back a ways.
Yeah.
Harkening back to the old times.
According to some, the phrase pair of pants harkens back to the days when what constituted pants or pantaloons, as they were originally known. We need to bring that back.
Yeah. I got no issue with pantaloons, but again,
it consisted of 2 separate items, one for each leg. They were put on one at a time and then secured around the waist. So your junk was just hanging. I mean, you would put on, you'd have one for each leg. You'd put them on and then you'd connect them, kind of like chaps. I think that is like more chaps, right?
I mean, I guess, but still, the chaps are still one piece that you're putting over both legs.
Yeah,
it's just that your ass is hanging out.
Yeah, but now I'm on.
But with those pantaloons, it seems like you got the front side hanging out.
It sure does.
You know,
it sure does. Maybe it had a holster in there. I don't know.
Too much freedom.
Now my second source is saying that pair of pants, because they originally consisted of 2 separate pieces, one for each leg. These pieces were put in one at a time and then secured around the waist. The style of pants was known as pantaloons and was popular in Europe from the 16th to 18th centuries. So we're going way back with this.
So this is basically, it's King Richard's fault that I have to say pants. A pair of pants.
Apparently. But that didn't sound like Richard was contained.
Well, I've seen the one movie he's portrayed in.
Yeah.
He seemed a little unhinged.
Wow. That is, Well, I learned something today. Pair of pants. And you didn't check for your wallet before you left the door. I do it at the door. It's a door check for me.
Well, see, that's the whole thing is I don't check it because it's just there. It's just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the texters, you're welcome. Thank you for the split-second visual of Rustin Chaps.
Yes, you are welcome.
With that mustache, I believe that's all you're wearing.
Just picture an afro wig sitting right on my butt.
Isn't that... You kind of look like the guy from Sopranos.
I think I just broke Dusty. He's not quite sure what to make of that.
I feel like you need 2 separate piles of dirty laundry based on that comment right there.
That might
You just said you have a butt fro.
That might be today's discovery, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
I missed that part.
I couldn't understand how you were speaking right through that.
Sometimes I
just said
the volume way down.
He said he has an afro. Now we talking.
Look, I'm a quarter Italian.
Cheeks, like on
So
the
am I.
outside.
Well, I mean, yeah,
there's no fro.
That's the only part hanging out of the chaps, right?
Yeah, hold on. Let's not just gloss over this. Like, hey, I'm Italian. Because like so am I. But let's not.
But let's face it. We all know that if I was in here sitting without a shirt, it would still look like I was wearing a sweater.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have that same issue too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm basically.
But my butt doesn't have a fro.
I'm basically a full body gorilla suit.
You're just a hairy Italian.
Yeah.
There's like 2 different types. I mean, there's
I'm the Southern Italian.
Yeah.
The Southern Italian is hairy.
Wait,
the
not
Northern Italian
up by
is
the
not?
mountains. That's where they get all blonde and super attractive and stuff.
Oh,
Up
you're
by the
talking
mountains.
way up north. Yeah. But you're not the oily. You're obviously not the oily bohunk.
No, I am the oily bohunk.
Oh,
Yeah.
hairy.
Can't you see his mustache?
Exactly.
Yeah, sorry.
It doesn't get hunkier
Just
than that.
to go back, maybe like to the wrestling visuals. Just picture like a Razor Ramon.
Okay.
The bad guy.
I hated Razor Ramon.
I know he was a greasy,
the bad
oily
guy.
bohunk.
Hated him.
Yeah,
He was the
awful,
bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do need. We've had several requests for DX. We do need DX.
I've got a running list over here going
I
already
chop?
with I got 7 written down over here. So between I've already got in there, we might be covered for the show.
You got to get Roddy Piper in there too, just because he used to have.
Oh,
the
that would be a
Portland-
glaring omission. Thank you.
Yeah, well, he had the Portland wrestling class, which
When he lived
Will
in,
knows things.
No, he lived in Hillsboro, man. Like he was like it was Roddy Piper. You would have Jerome Kersey, Cliff Robinson. Those were the celebrities that like lived in the Hillsboro area where you could see them out in the wild, and it was always like,
Whoa. And he had Duckworth. He was more Beaverton.
Yeah, he was more Beaverton. Yeah.
Right by the old William Walker School.
Yeah, Uncle Cliffy lived out like out in the sticks. And then Jerome lived in like the Rock Creek neighborhood. And then Roddy Piper, he was Reedville area. Like he
okay.
Yeah.
The old Reedville Cafe. I've been there for a while.
Yeah. Like it was like you could see that. Like when you did, it was like,
These days, you might run into a Martell Webster in the old Bethany area.
oh, look at that,
Yeah.
Martell.
He's still hanging out around here?
Yeah.
Why not?
I've seen him a few times.
Good for him. Good for him. All right.
And by the way, I'm here to chew some bubble
Wait.
gum and kick some ass. And it looks like I'm about out of bubble gum.
We covered a lot.
We did.
We didn't even mention that WWE is going to Netflix, and we've been talking about wrestling this whole time.
I just saw that this morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah. What, Monday Night Raw, I believe?
I think so, yeah. 2025.
Raw going to Netflix.
Yeah, and then we have Duck
Netflix is going
Duck
raw.
did move out towards he lived like Milwaukee, maybe Oregon City-ish area.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
later years. R.I.P.
Yes.
To the Duck.
Well, and to Kersey and Cliff, too.
Yeah. God, man.
Right? Eee, Debbie Downer.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Holy hell, dude.
It is a Debbie Downer. All right. Well, we covered a lot in nothing at the same time.
Yes.
So you're welcome.
It's a good one.
And I'm sorry for ruining your lunch with all those visuals of Jeff Rust.
You know what?
a
I'm
butt
not
throw
sorry.
in
You're
Jeff's.
welcome.
It might have made people hungry. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sorry. You're welcome.
Yeah, there's a small percentage of people that can power through that.
Hey,
But
there's a fetish for everything.
Not here to yuck anyone's yum.
that made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't feel
that
good.
sentence did not.
I think that's the one
sit
that
right.
universally made everybody not feel good.
Yeah. I mean, I feel worse about what you just said than what he said earlier.
Yeah.
No one's more proud than me right now.
Yeah, you were like just the word moist away from really ruining people's days.
I'm a positive
I'm
person.
going to throw a couple of them together. How about moist nipples?
What? Stop! At this point, I demand a break.
Want one more?
No! Woj next.
You sure?
Panties.
show started. The Milwaukee Bucks have fired Adrian Griffin as head coach. Look, we're just 43 games into his tenure. Barely half a season as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. And at 30-13, second in the Eastern Conference, 3.5 games back of the Boston Celtics. Not enough. I think it is the 6-4 over their last 10, despite winning 5 of their last 6 games. It's 6-4 of their last 10. 5 of their 13 losses have come since January 1st. So this month, they've lost 5 of their 13 games. And it's far more than that. Because let's take this all the way back to the beginning of the season, before the season even started. As Adrian Griffin assembled his staff, he brought in one of the best offensive minds in the NBA, in Terry Stotts, to coordinate his offense. And yes, the NBA does have offensive and defensive coordinators. People forget.
Well, look, people forget because it isn't so pronounced. Yeah. Like in football, the defense is out there at one moment.
Yeah.
NBA, you got to play both. Got to play offense and defense.
But he brings Stotts in, and before the season even starts, he and Terry Stotts butt head, and Terry Stotts steps away from the team. And Terry Stotts, remember, resigned. And a lot of the buzz initially from when Adrian Griffin was taking over was, this is a guy that was out to prove himself as a head coach. Mm-hmm. And some can see it as, hey, he was just an aggressive head coach. Others saw it as, maybe there's some insecurity there of, you have got a roster that when you took the job had Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Brook Lopez, primed to win and very successful, and you can get them over the hump if you just kind of step back to, all of a sudden you have Damian Lillard and the expectations rise through the roof, and you need to not just win, but win at a crazy clip. Mm-hmm. It is whether you want to call it heavy-handed or the insecurities of being a first-time head coach, it did not fit with the veterans on the roster, and it obviously did not fit and sit well with Terry Stotts when he came on as an assistant, and before the season even starts, he steps away.
Which is interesting, though, because, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the guy that Giannis fought for. Giannis, once they moved on from Budenholzer, it was, I want this guy in. I want to play for a guy who coaches in this style. And that's why he got hired. But then as soon as he gets the job, it's immediate, well, I don't like the way that I'm getting coached in this way. I don't like the way that I'm getting coached in that way. And what people are doing right now is they're looking, hey, the defense has slipped. Last year, they were 4th in the league in defense. Now they're 22nd. Well, yeah, you lost Drew Holiday. And yes,
you lost one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, and you replaced him with Damian Lillard.
Right, and Damian Lillard, miles better offensively, but defensively, you have to take a step back.
Yeah.
And you're also asking other players to now do more on the defensive end because Drew's not there, so guys are more out of position. I just don't totally understand this, and I'll never understand why a team, like in football, they'll move on from a coach in the first season. They'll get a season gone, 2 seasons gone. It's the same thing in the NBA. Why would you fight for someone to get in? Then the minute he gets in, be like, actually, just kidding. I don't really like this. He needs to be gone because we struggled a little bit in January.
It doesn't, and look, stars have a ton of power. I don't think this is just like Giannis or just Dame that are saying this. Collectively,
clearly
the rumors and the rumblings were it was not working.
Right.
And it was not going to be long before something like this happened. His leash was very short. And like, you could sit there and you could say, all right, so Terry Stotts didn't like it. Terry Stotts is regarded as one of the easiest people to get along with and work with in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Like he is, because he protects his players. We know this to a fault in Portland. Like the criticism of players was non-existent largely under Terry Stotts. He protects the players. He is wickedly smart when it comes to the offensive side. And apparently there was a rift there wide enough for Terry Stotts to step away and say, no, I'm out before the season even started. Did that have something to do with Dame being on the team? And maybe Adrian Griffin was like, dude, you're the guy's former head coach and like this isn't working. Sure, you can look into that. But all of the rumblings and all of the murmurs out of Milwaukee were, it was not, because in the NBA, just as much as being an X's and O's guy, you have got to be a manager of egos. Mm-hmm. That, like Phil Jackson in the triangle offense, sure, he didn't reinvent the wheel with the triangle offense. He managed egos better than anybody could.
Right.
You look at managing
Steve Kerr,
minutes, 100%. Pop is phenomenal at this.
Right.
Protects his players, and he is a manager of people. And that part of the job, we look at why guys don't work with rosters that are loaded. This is why. This is why, because if you don't get that buy-in from them and everybody to fall into a role, and that's the most important job, is that especially on a roster as talented as Milwaukee's is,
Right.
you have got to have guys accept roles that are not what they were before, and you've got to be able to massage that. And that is a very difficult thing, and we saw that Adrian Griffin had difficulty doing that with Terry Stotts before the season even started. So the writing was on the wall, folks.
Right. And there's been clear turmoil. The problem is when you fire a guy this early, for me, it tells me, one, you made the wrong hire to begin with. You should have never hired this coach. But immediately, who's the name on the top of the list that everyone is saying they're going to go and talk to? It's Doc Rivers.
No, I don't. Because he's
available.
Yeah, because he has coached and he's not coaching currently.
Joe
players seem to
Prunty,
love him.
Joe Prunty is that guy, but Doc Rivers also blows the 3-0 leads.
That's my whole point. So because he won
3-1
one
series lead,
You could have just left that after
title?
3 words and just said Doc Rivers blows.
Right. But
Damn.
So
He's not good.
I don't know. I will never understand moving on, especially when your star player fought for a coach and then the coach comes in and he doesn't like him, or the other veteran players don't like him. So now we have to move on, and we're going to move on from him in the first year. Now it's easier to recover from that in the NBA because there's not that much variance, right, between the coaches. It's going to be a similar style, whoever they bring in, and the style is going to be make sure Giannis or Dame is taking the final shot at the end of the game.
Bring back Tear Bear.
Right. I will never understand how at times it feels like NBA players will go and fight and fight and fight and demand that my person that I want as my head coach be the head coach. And after a month of struggling, go, well, you got to fire him, got to get someone new. It's not my fault. It's got to be someone else's.
I think it was far more than just a month of struggling, though. I think,
and I don't think it was necessarily just the players going and saying, hey, we can't.
And we should have never been hired to begin with.
You're right. I also think that you get to this point, too, where things were rocky at the beginning. We've talked about this as it pertains to the Blazers in their woes. These are the doldrums of the season. You're looking for the silver lining. And right now, the Milwaukee Bucks are starting to fray. And the great coaches, they kind of keep bringing guys together, right? And we can criticize Joe Mazzulla all we want for some of the quirky things that he says in Boston.
Who's guy we take?
Dude wins at an unbelievable clip.
And he's been able to keep that team largely together.
Yep.
So I don't know. I feel like you have to go with the retread, though, in Milwaukee. You can't go new again.
Yeah. This is not, and this text is great. Like, Griffin was fired because the team struggles were not a roster issue. Neil O'Shea would be right. This is not a roster construction issue.
Correct. But how much of that is
just for a completely different franchise? Same star player, though.
How much of that is because it's the middle of the year and guys are tired? How much of that is guys just didn't like him?
But it started before. It started before.
It sounds like from the get-go, even before the season started. Yeah, no, exactly. It sounds like the hire itself was a mistake.
The anger then should all be on the GM.
Or ownership.
Ownership, right.
Giannis,
ownership,
or,
That's all foreign concepts to Blazers fans as well.
Conglomeration of many.
Right.
All right. Well, Adrian Griffin is out. It does appear they're going after Doc Rivers, which good luck with that. But Joe Prunty is the man right now.
Mind-boggling.
Former Blazer assistant Joe Prunty.
Former Blazer great.
Former Blazer interim head coach for a couple of games, Joe Prunty as well.
I forgot about that.
Man can do everything.
Man, everyone's leaving Portland for Milwaukee. First Dame, now Prunty.
No, it's Algonquin for the good land.
Who's next?
All right. we got more NBA news because, look, if you want to talk about a coach that may be going down a slippery slope and have a really good roster and a really good team right now, we may have heard it last night. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. Here's Rust.
Now, from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Only 24 cents to enroll this January. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on the Fan, the Trailblazers can continue their road trip tonight in Oklahoma City against the Thunder. 5 o'clock tip on Root Sports. The Blazers 13.5-point underdogs. Shaden Sharp and Moses Brown are both out. Multiple reports say the Bucks have fired head coach Adrian Griffin. In just his first season, the Bucks are tied for the league's second-best record at 30-13. The Miami Heat sending Kyle Lowry and a protected 2027 first-round pick to the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for Terry Rozier. The Cavalier center Tristan Thompson has been suspended without pay for 25 games for violating the league's anti-drug program. And former Rockets guard Kevin Porter Jr. has reached a plea deal in a case involving former girlfriend and WNBA player Kaiser Gondrezick. Porter Jr. agreed to misdemeanor charges of reckless assault in the 3rd degree and harassment in the 2nd degree, which is a violation. And over in football, in the latest move out of Philadelphia, reports say the Eagles firing offensive coordinator Brian Johnson after a single season in that role. Philly already set to part ways with defensive coordinator Sean Desai and defensive play caller Matt Patricia. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk. Get to Spirit Mountain Casino Sportsbook powered by BetMGM for all the pro football postseason action. Visit spiritmountain.com.
This is your home for year-round NFL coverage. The Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
Hey, it's Suk for A&E
right, we're still trying to get back on the rails after that first show, or that first segment.
We learned so much.
He's a doozy.
Oh boy,
John Cena, bad hang.
Brick killed a guy.
Yeah, you want to lay low for a while. Adrian Griffin has been fired, and this is a surprise to many on the surface because it's the number 2 team in the East. It's got a talented roster with a star player who's a new piece there, right? Like when you add Damian Lillard to the Giannis show, it will take time for things to meld and mesh together because of the fact that, like, look, you mentioned it on the defensive side. You replace Jrue Holiday with Damian Lillard.
Probably
defensively, you're going to take a big step back.
You just have to. You have probably the best perimeter defender, best guard defender in Jrue Holiday. And look, as good as Dame is, and Dame obviously way better than Jrue Holiday, but defensively, he's not on par with Jrue Holiday. So you're going to take a step back, and it's going to take time to figure out how to develop and how to work that defense to where you're not going to be as good, but where you can be much better than 22nd. Clearly, if
you should not be 22nd.
Right.
You should not be 22nd
Right.
because you still have Giannis, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, Chris Middleton. Like, you still got some dudes that can defend.
You still have a lot of dudes who can defend and who can defend multiple positions, right?
Yeah.
Not just one position. But it takes time. There's a reason why when the big 3 came to Miami, it took them a year or two, right? In that first year, everyone was like, what's wrong with Miami? What's wrong with Miami? All the way until it felt about February or March. So it takes time to figure some of that stuff out. What it sounds like is, one, there was already turmoil behind the scenes with Griffin. I mean, Terry Stott's leaving right away. But for me, when I look at this, if you hired this guy, this is the man you chose to give as your head coach, he should get the year to at least try and figure it out.
You don't have that much time. You're not afforded that much time when you are in a win now window, right? You are in a win now window, and you have got to maximize the late prime of Damian Lillard and the absolute prime of Giannis. Like, you have to do it because, look, Brook Lopez, how many more years you got with Brook and Robin Lopez? How many more years you got with Chris Middleton, who's struggled with injuries? Right. Dame is in the back end of his prime. How long
will Bobby take his backseat role?
You need to find somebody who can galvanize this team and move forward with it. And the issues were so much greater than what they anticipated when they hired him.
Right.
Because you don't expect to have a coach come in who is insecure with his role as the head coach, right? And reluctance to change with how the roster is fit and how the stars see fit, because there's already people are throwing out articles from back in November of complaints. Things weren't right. Things weren't right. There's a CBS Sports article that I saw was retweeted by somebody. I think maybe Eric Garcia, but it said Lillard spoke to reporters. Blazer Banter did it. But it says Lillard spoke to reporters in Antetokounmpo. That's Eric Gunderson. Right? Yeah, Eric Gunderson.
Eric Gunderson Garcia.
Yeah. While Lillard spoke to reporters, Antetokounmpo walked up to the Bucks' giant whiteboard, which takes up nearly the entire locker room wall, and began diagramming actions with the assistant coach, Josh Oppenheimer. I wonder if he's related. What seemed at first to be a quick question turned into a lengthy conversation on tactics, eventually involved both Giannis and Bobby Portis. Giannis seemed more inquisitive than anything, but it was strange for a team's tenured star to make a public show of such a discussion. I've been in locker rooms for years, sometimes after terrible losses, and I've never seen this before.
Then he's the worst hire in the last 10 years.
And so they're pulling the ripcord now and saying, if we got to win now, we can put the Band-Aid over the bullet hole, and hopefully Joe Prunty can do it.
Or
how great would it be if Joe Prunty takes them to a title?
Is he going to be? He's not going to be the one that's in there for long. They're already talking about retreading Doc Rivers, and it seems like he's the top candidate.
Do it.
How is Doc Rivers better? I mean, he's obviously a little bit of a step up.
He will not have the issues personnel-wise and clash. He'll
just have the issues win-wise.
Maybe they just shouldn't have moved away from Bud in the first place.
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Grass isn't always greener,
It's
right?
not like he didn't win you a title or anything. Wait.
Maybe you already had the guy. Maybe you had the guy and you ran him out of town at the beginning and Terry Stotts. I don't feel like you're going to be able to find a coach that isn't already coaching that fills all those needs that you have. Steve Kerr ain't coming. Greg Popovich isn't coming unless you hit like Joe Mazzulla did in Boston and you get lucky and you run it back with another young coach. It feels like Milwaukee's...
That's you on ownership.
They got
but
some issues.
it is hard to hire a coach, and there's some things you just don't foresee. I am with you. Sometimes it does take time, but if you know it's bad and it's an ugly situation, don't let it get worse. Just do it now, because he obviously wasn't the guy. Mm-hmm. Things aren't rosy for one other NBA team that is sitting atop the standings. We'll get to that coming up next. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. could rise from the dead, like The Undertaker. And like the Cleveland Cavaliers, who fired David Blatt midseason, promoted Ty Lue, won a title, huh?
That's right. Doc Rivers equals Ty Lue and Prime LeBron.
Joe Prunty equals
Blaze are great.
Ty Lue. Giannis equals LeBron. How about that? Take that for data.
So then is Dame Matthew Dellavedova in this?
Yes, he's Delly.
No, I'm just kidding.
He's Delly.
He'd be Kyrie.
No, he's Delly. All right. We do have, like, last night was a crazy night in the NBA. Embiid goes for 70 in the most ridiculous way possible. He does it on the anniversary of Kobe's 81 performance. He does it in an NBA record 37 minutes. He does it, and by the way, 37 minutes eclipsed Dame's 39 minutes, which was the record for a 70-point performance. But he also does it against Wemby and is like, hey, welcome, young buck. This is what big men do in the NBA.
It almost felt like a purpose pitch. And
it absolutely did.
The other part that's funny about it is with Embiid going against Wemby, I would have thought Embiid would use his strength to kind of push Wemby around, which he did to a degree, making sure that he got to his spots. But a lot of the spots that he got to, it felt like he was shooting kind of like old school LaMarcus Aldridge, where it's like, let's get to the top of the key, and I'm going to have a little bit of a fadeaway so that I have space, and I'm just going to hit everything.
Yep. Embiid is still special, and he is special. But it also happened on a night where Karl Anthony Towns goes for 62. It's the first time we've had a guy go for 70, or I guess two guys go for more than 60 in the same night, since 1978. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
And they did it completely different.
Yeah, David Thompson and George Gervin on April 9th, 1978 did it. And then now
George
you have...
Gervin?
No.
That's how Dirt said it. But I think he said it correctly.
Embiid goes for 70.
It's like the inventor of the GIF saying it's GIF.
No, it's George Gervin. Only the Iceman can finger roll. He does it on the same night. Karl Anthony Towns goes for 62. And the big difference here is Embiid won. Karl Anthony Towns and the Timberwolves lost. Mm-hmm. Did you see the stat about the Timberwolves loss to the Hornets?
It's like the first time a team has lost where they've been up by 15 and a guy's gone for 60 plus.
No,
400
it's even worse. Yeah, no, it's the first time that the Hornets became the first team in NBA history with a win percentage of less than 25% to erase a 15-point fourth quarter deficit against a team that's won 70% of their games. They were 0-414 before that. That's an epic meltdown.
1-414 now.
But what I love about Chris Finch, the head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and this is like the slippery slope of being heavy-handed as opposed to being able to maximize the talent of your roster. And this is where Adrian Griffin fell short, is that he wasn't maximizing his talent. There's times where you can throw the purpose pitches at your roster. And Chris Finch saw, the first time ever a team has blown a lead like this, that he should throw his purpose pitch at his roster.
It was an absolute disgusting performance of defense and immature basketball all the way through the game. So it really didn't slip away. It had been there from the jump. So this is what happens when you have this type of approach. Obviously, we're going to try to feed a hot hand, look for a hot hand, but at some point, we got to get back to making the right play. We got to get back to doing the right things. That's just, like I said, there's a lot of ways to be immature. There's always a lot of ways to be immature. And there was a lot of immature performances here throughout the roster. We totally disrespected the game ourselves. And we got exactly what we deserve. So,
Chris, did you also see, did it turn into Karl trying to hunt like a big number?
But for a while, it was going. But, down the stretch, you kind of dried up for us. But, so.
That's an inexcusable loss. And when you have one of your star players and your coach is sitting there like, he was just hunting for points and not playing within the context of the game, which is immature basketball, especially coming off a loss to Oklahoma City the night before. Like, you cannot have those sorts of meltdowns if you're going to be a team that is climbing the ladder. And you look at that and you go, I like the way he handled that, because there's going to be the moment where it's kind of interesting that Karl Anthony Towns does that in a night where Embiid goes for 70, and Embiid has always been criticized for, all right, do you have what it takes to win in the playoffs? What Chris Finch is saying is like great teams that win in the playoffs, they don't have the lapses of immaturity. And I don't think that that's what Embiid has. But if you're going to win in the playoffs, you have got to play within the context of a game. I think what Embiid often does is he relies on other guys within the context of the game, and they let him down largely in the postseason.
James Harden.
James Harden, Ben Simmons. Like the list is actually pretty long. But you throw this purpose pitch now, so you don't end up in a situation where you're like Adrian Griffin, you're losing a locker room, and you're losing some of the vets who are like, dude, like we can't lose a game like that and have nothing said about how we lost that game.
I also think it works perfect against Cat because what is his big criticisms have been? They have been, he is immature. He cares a little bit more about himself. He's got a little bit of that Carmelo Anthony in him where it's like, I don't care if we win or lose as long as I get mine.
That's what he did.
And that's kind of what it seemed like, especially down the stretch when he started to go cold. Like at the start of the game, I mean, shoot, I think he had somewhere, 20 points or something like that in the first quarter?
Yeah.
And he was 10 for whatever from the 3-point line. He had 30 points just on 3-pointers. But as the game gets going on, he gets tired. He's not able to get into his legs as much, so he's missing more and more shots. And instead of doing the right thing where it's like, hey, now I can be the decoy, because teams are still going to go out to me because they're going to think that I'm going to try and hit that 50-point mark, that 60-point mark. I can use other people. They're going to be open because I'm going to get doubled. He just kept shooting and shooting and shooting like he was going to stay hot the entire time. I wonder if this pitch will be enough, though, to get through to Cat, because most of the time when you have a player like this, that's not going to get through to Cat. It's going to be received instead of positive criticism, trying to help you take that next step in your game to, oh, that dude's just a hater. Why would I listen to this hater?
Slippery slope. It's slippery slope, but you could be proven right by saying and highlighting the immaturities if it doesn't get a well-rounded response from Karl Anthony Towns. We'll see, but I'm glad. I like it when coaches will do this every now and then, just be like, dude, no.
Especially in
inexcusable.
basketball. It doesn't happen in basketball either because coaches get fired.
That's right.
So fast.
All right, let's get off of the NBA and let's get back to the NFL. We've got some NFL nuggies for you here. Some Andy Reid-esque chicken nuggies. Why don't you slide some of those nuggies my way? We know about the guys who performed the best over the weekend, but there's a lot of guys that people aren't talking about from divisional round weekend that vaults them forward into championship weekend, highlighting some of the great performances from the divisional round weekend that we're not talking about. Next on The Fan.
start.
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty, an Ortner and Dusty edition here.
What's up?
We got a lot of, we got all wrestling music. You've mission accomplished. Jeff Rust.
Yeah, we're all set.
It's a Wrestling Tuesday. We
Yeah.
got all wrestling bump backs. Obviously, this is not.
This is not, no.
It'd be a hell of an entrance song.
Yeah, it would.
Who could come out to that?
Just a single man called Dusty Buns.
This Dusty Hairy Buns?
I hereby announce my wrestling career has launched.
Hey, I can still reach back out to them if you want me to.
Excuse me?
They emailed me one time.
About wrestling?
Yeah,
You're
I
gonna be
told this
what?
story. Well, I
Do they still do the Portland wrestling?
No. Like the WWE.
That's a shame.
So they had a run where they were reaching out to former college athletes.
Footballers and such.
Do you like steroids?
That's been a pretty good pipeline for them.
Exactly. And so they reached out to me, and I got to the send in pictures phase. That was about as far as I got. To this day, it's I might have to tweet out the pictures.
Did you send them to castingcouch.com? Like, was it like?
Are you sure that was the WWE?
No, yes, I am sure. I have the email. I can show you the email.
Yeah.
It is a legit sort.
It's wrestling. RASTLIN.
It was a creepy dude in his mom's basement soliciting pictures of former college athletes in singlets.
At castingcouch.com.
It was in.
How many feet pictures did you have to send?
None. WWE NIL when they were doing their next in line promotion.
Okay.
It's like where the Cavenders got hired from. There's a couple other big name college guys that got hired that way. And so I sent in the photos and they were like, well, sir, we don't think that you quite meet our criteria.
You fat.
Yes. You are
good,
fat
thanks.
and have crappy hair.
Didn't stop.
Hulk Hogan,
Vader?
Goldberg, The Rock,
Vader?
Hulk Hogan, Vader. Yeah.
Whoa, hold on.
Hogan
You just
and
said
Goldberg
The Rock,
weren't fat. They weren't
Goldberg,
fat.
and they were not fat at all.
The Rock.
Well, no,
had
I was talking more of the
though.
hair.
I was talking, it's time. It's time. It's Vader time. But you need to get way fatter for that.
See, that was my issue. I was
Yeah.
either not fat enough.
Yeah.
Or not jacked enough.
Yeah.
I fit the middle where it was like dad bod, and wrestlers can't have dad bods.
Tell that to Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh,
I'm a little too young for Hacksaw. Although Jake the Snake, he was kind of chunky.
Yeah, those times have passed. I mean,
Yeah.
look at
Now you gotta be jacked and hot.
Hacksaw.
yeah.
Oh, that
Hacksaw,
guy. I've
yeah.
seen that guy.
He was the definition of an everyman.
Is he the
Yeah, except
original?
for he was super jacked, but it was just he had a belly on him.
Yeah.
Is he why in Walking Tall, The Rock just carries around the 2x4 to beat people up? Is
Probably.
that Hacksaw?
That's probably it. Yeah, that's probably an homage.
It's by the way, when you watch that when you're 10, that movie's badass. When you watch it when you're 25, you start picking through some stuff. Like, really, that guy with the AK-47 couldn't hit The Rock as he walked up to him?
They're always terrible shots.
They are.
Wait a minute.
It's not good. All right, we've got. Let's get to some NFL, shall we? Now that this segment's already burnt. Thanks, guys.
It's not burnt. Talking about WWE.
I know, and it is really fun. It is. As a kid, it didn't get much better, and just getting so excited for wrestling. I think it's time. I think it's time I start opening those doors to my son and knowing full well I will be getting him coming off the top rope, just jumping off of everything, taking me out.
I feel like it's harder to get a kid into that these days because we just
Everyone knows.
I think we were spoiled, and probably everybody says this, but I think we were spoiled. We truly grew up in the golden age of wrestling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but you're not taking into account the meatheadness of any young boy. They're just like, what?
Valid point.
It's true.
Yeah.
Smash skull. It's
I
like,
can see Logan Paul jump off off the top rope.
Never. He will not be a fan of Logan Paul.
Right now, U.S. champion Logan Paul.
I'm sure Dusty will probably try to make sure that he won't be it.
Logan the
Man,
Maverick Paul.
Like I failed my son because he's a effing Laker fan.
Is he going to be a
Pisses
theory?
me off.
Is he going to be?
I have to then be like, oh, I love Logan Paul. He's like, I hate him. That's how I get to that point. Is like I have to then tell my kid I love him, and he'll be like, don't like him, hate him.
Yeah.
That's the play for
My
me.
dad likes him. He sucks.
Is he going to be a fan of the Miz?
Wasn't the Miz? Isn't
Yes.
that the Road Rules guy?
Yes.
I'm out on him.
Yeah, he was a Road Rules dude. And then
Out.
also it was what was the Was it Cannonball?
That's it. Oh, you know what? All I'm going to do now?
Cannonball. It was Cannonball.
He is exclusively going to watch late 80s, early 90s wrestling.
Yeah.
That's the play.
That's the play right there.
You need
We're
some
only
Hulk
going
Hogan,
reruns.
You need some Macho Man. You need some Ultimate Warrior. You
Ric
need
Flair.
the Legion of Doom.
Hell yeah.
Some
Hawk and
Mean
Animal.
Gene.
Yeah.
That's how I got into it. The Hulk Hogan documentary. He has like a 3 DVD set of him in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s.
Even
his
back
best
to your
matches.
Ricky the
I
Dragon
liked it.
Steamboats and such. Junkyard Dog.
Ooh.
I went to college with Jimmy Superfly Snuka's daughter.
Was she Superfly?
She was awesome. She was married to one of my teammates.
She wasn't just
She was great.
Superfly. She was Super Duper Fly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
do all the tricks.
She can't stand the rain.
Ooh, show your son Rey Mysterio.
He will see, yeah.
Rey Mysterio's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
That dude, he
that's a
could
wrestler
fly.
from now.
And I
He defied gravity.
I got a like a full on luchador mask when I was in Mexico too. So my son, I'll just pop that on my kid and he'll just run around terrorizing everybody. It'll be great. It'll be great. Those things are really hard to breathe in too. They are not breathable. They're very constrictive.
Yeah, I don't think they were built for function.
No.
Not a big mask guy.
No. Okay. Well, that would have
It's time to
taken
break.
that would have taken a different context like 3 years ago. But we'll move on.
Ed, first. That went on for like 3 seconds too long, and then it became funny again. I love Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre is a good movie.
It was fantastic.
Just a quick squirrel moment.
No,
Speaking of Jack Black.
those haven't happened.
Yeah, right. Well, hey, we're going to break anyway here. I saw a video the other day. It was Jack Black and the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, covering
Doing the cover of AC/DC's Big Balls. It was fantastic.
He was fighting Foo.
It was fantastic.
That's badass.
Yes.
All right, let's get back to the NFL here, shall we? Performances from the divisional round that not a lot of people are talking. Everybody knows Lamar Jackson was the balls, but some of the sneaky ones that got their teams to the conference championship weekend. Danny Dusty on the Fan. Rowdy Roddy Piper. Love it. All right.
Another RIP.
Yeah. Wrestlers don't live long, man.
No,
Wrestlers don't live
you're
long.
not wrong.
Ric Flair.
He's kind of
a
the outlier.
Good run, man.
Yep. Of all of the wrestlers from that era, is he the most shocking to have lived this long?
Yes.
His 30 for 30, as good as it was a big eye opener. It was like,
It was.
whoa.
Yep.
Yeah, he's done some hard living.
All of those promos he cut, he was telling the truth.
How many beers have you had? 6. Today? Yes, sir, it's 10:30.
Yeah. A.M.
That's what his doctor said to
Can't
him.
drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
All right. Hey, taking a look at the divisional round of the playoffs, like coming out of divisional weekend, we have so much to talk about because we have conference championship games set. You've got the games themselves. But as I was kind of going back, like we all know Lamar Jackson was that dude. And he takes the headlines, and rightfully so. Patrick Mahomes, he is not getting enough credit for how exquisite he did play. Because Patrick Mahomes was absolutely insane. When you think of, he never put the ball in danger. Mecole Hardman did. But he never put the ball in danger. And it was masterful the way he played. And it looks like Patrick Mahomes in that receiving core, he's finally starting to figure out how limited they are and how to amplify what they do well.
Right. He's not taking any 50-50 ball chances. Everything is, hey, this guy is open. I'm going to get it to him. He's also doing what he does best in the postseason, where I feel like he just, instead of running a 4.8 40, all of a sudden he runs a 4.6 40. As soon as like January hits, he becomes super fast for some weird reason. He just decides it.
Well, he did the thing that you called the fake slide from Josh Allen.
Stay right by the sideline and constantly be like, I can step out. I can step out.
Yeah, he did that same thing, and I don't hear you criticizing fake slide Patrick Mahomes today. Would you like to? Here's your stage. You can do it right now.
I don't want to. He won me money. Why would I do that? Why would I apologize for winning?
Yeah, but I want to talk about some of the guys that
Cost me money.
they're not getting as much love as the Mahomes and the Lamar Jacksons because they're not the damn quarterbacks, and we know this to be true.
Right.
Like Michael Pierce, right? He's a nose, and you can highlight this as a former offensive lineman of just how incredible this is. That dude was a menace in the run game. But as a nose tackle on dropbacks, he got pressures 33% of the time. As a nose tackle, he's in a zero, lined up
insane
over the center, and he got 33% of dropbacks. He pressured the quarterback from the center position.
And on a good chunk of those, he's getting double teams just the way that slides work. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's dumb to double a nose because it doesn't make sense. It's the slowest guy. He's supposed to have the worst pass rush. But the way a lot of teams slide, you do kind of get doubled just the way teams are looking. To be able to get that much pressure and to be able to fight through it and to do it in a variety of different ways, not just like, oh, I'm going to use all my strength on one play and bowl someone back, but also to be nimble enough to hand fight a little bit, get to the side, throw a little swim move in there, throw a dip and rip.
It's like Vince Wilfork-esque.
How do you stop a guy like that?
I don't know. And
How do you hold him down?
Like that highlights just how good the defense is for the Baltimore Ravens and how good they were on Saturday. Because it's not just no offensive touchdowns for Houston. It was at every single level. They just battered Houston and said, you have no answer for us. Right. Because it was Pierce up front. You had in the back end, they were just nails all game long.
Well, Hamilton's probably a top 5 safety and doesn't get nearly enough credit for what he can do.
And Patrick Queen was incredible at the linebacker position in coverage, and then these guys also coming up and supporting the run. I think that's the thing about Pierce is you look at not just getting pressures from the nose, but also being able to two-gap and make sure that you are eating two bodies at the exact same time in the middle of that defense in the run game. There was no run game to speak of. I think it was, 38 yards of rushing that the Houston Texans had in the game?
I think that's being generous. 38.
That is wild to think about how good he was. So, and those are guys to watch as we look at conference championship games, right? when you look at the conference championship game, how are you going to fluster Patrick Mahomes? If you can be disruptors up the middle, Michael Pierce, if he plays a game just a shell of what he did in that divisional round game,
right,
it is going to give headaches to a Kansas City Chiefs team that not just had the ability to move the ball against the Buffalo Bills, beat up defense,
right,
but are doing it on the ground. And if you can eliminate the run game and you force that limited receiving corps to make plays, that's going to be advantageous for Baltimore.
Right. And here's where I'm going to counter back. Kansas City might have the best young center in football right now.
Yeah,
Creed Humphreys is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the guard next to him, Trey Smith, he fell to the 6th round. They drafted him. I believe he was the 2021 draft. They're the same draft class, right? And he fell because he had all these injury issues. Well, he's been nothing but healthy once he got into the NFL. Those are two guys that I do think can slow down Pierce. Where I think the big matchup is going to be isn't just on that O-line, D-line. I think it's going to be Queen's ability to cover Travis Kelce.
Yep.
Because Hamilton. Or Hamilton, right. But Queen is one of maybe the only linebacker. Maybe Fred Warner could do it as well. He's not usually asked to do that type of coverage, but Queen is fast enough and physical enough to where he can actually stay with Travis Kelce. And Travis Kelce, you saw it when they needed big plays in that game against Buffalo. Travis Kelce reverted back to old Travis Kelce. He got open. He found ways to read the defense early on, break his route off so that he could be in an open spot in the zone, get into the end zone. When you have a guy who can straight up man cover another player and shut them out and completely stop them from getting done what they want to get done, it completely takes Travis Kelce out of the game. And who does Mahomes then throw to?
Yeah, Rashee Rice or Marcus Valdez-Scantling played really well.
He did have one big catch. They need Travis Kelce to have another big game. If Queen can go in there and absolutely shut him out, how do they win this game?
Running the football with Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, that's it. I mean, they've run for 293 yards in 2 playoff games.
Right.
Damn good.
Right.
But yeah, how do you do that against this front seven in Baltimore? It's really good. I think one other linebacker who we can highlight, and he got a ton of love because he had 2 interceptions, in Dre Greenlaw. It may be that guy who can cover. Dre Greenlaw's game was far more impressive than just having 2 picks. You know, he allowed 25 yards receiving in I think it was like 40 dropbacks.
That's corner numbers.
Yeah, 25 yards receiving. And it's not like you're playing against a team that doesn't thrive in the short and intermediate game or feed their tight ends or back out, which Dre Greenlaw's going to have to account for as well. No. Jordan Love, 299 of his 409 completions were from 9 yards or fewer this year. 299 of 409. So that's where the tight end play, the backs out, the short passing game where they try to get the crossers and they try to bait a linebacker up. That is where Green Bay thrived. And Dre Greenlaw was absolutely that dude. 2 picks. He got all of the love for it, and rightfully so. But the fact that he only gave up 25 yards in coverage is nuts against that Packers team.
Especially from a linebacker position where we always used to talk about this. When I was an O lineman, it was you have to tell the tight end what to do.
You're always an O lineman, bud.
I'm getting skinny.
You're always one.
Hey, I lined up at fullback and I went in motion.
It's like being an alcoholic. You're always an alcoholic, even if you don't drink anymore.
Only if you're trying to stop. So with tight ends, whenever they were in the blocking scheme, we always had to tell them what to do. Why? Because tight ends don't care about the blocking scheme, because what's the one thing they want to do? They want to catch footballs. It's the same thing at that linebacker position. They don't want to drop into coverage. They want to see the ball and go get the ball.
See ball, get ball, hit ball.
So to have a linebacker that can drop back into coverage like that and stop teams and stop Kraft and stop Musgraves, 2 really good young tight ends, safety valves for Jordan Love. It was huge. It was huge, especially at the end of the game, because those are the guys that Jordan Love wanted to go to on that final drive, and he couldn't. So he had to force more 50-50 balls.
Also, I found this one as I was kind of filtering through the Pro Football Focus game grades for the Chiefs. They got a rookie, Kamari Connor,
Mm-hmm.
He's a rookie safety. And sometimes it's the guy that you don't know and you don't see, and you're like, that was a really good game, right?
Right.
Because nothing happened. You didn't hear his name. It's like an offensive lineman. If you don't hear his name, that's probably a pretty good thing.
Means you had a good game, yeah.
That dude, whether it was coming up in the run, he even got a pressure on Josh Allen. It can be a scary 4 hours to be in the secondary against Josh Allen with how long he creates, the fact he's got a cannon attached to his shoulder and will just push the ball down the field. He played an incredible game, and he was one of the highest graded players of any position for the Kansas City Chiefs. And he's a rookie in the divisional round. And he played 77 snaps.
Yeah, they had big injuries at the safety position early.
And he is you asked a rookie to step up against Josh Allen, against that offense, and the dude was incredible. Like, and if these are the kind of the players, like all of these guys that we're talking about, these are the players and the guys that if you make a Super Bowl run, they're the pivotal players that get you over that hump, right?
Right.
We know, especially now when you have guys like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes that are still standing as quarterbacks, right? If you are going to get over the hump, you need to have these sorts of role players that turn into stars for you, and some of them are quiet stars. Like the other two guys I want to highlight from Detroit, Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker.
Frank Ragnow, throw him in there too.
The two tackles, Sewell and Decker, they don't block, they maul people.
Yes.
I don't know the intricacies of offensive line play like you do, but when you watch them, you go, that's different. There was a play where Penei Sewell pulled, the end came up, and he stuck it like he was going to block the end.
He blocked a D end.
And baited the defensive end in, and then he looked like he was running like a post corner, and he got outside of the outside linebacker and put the outside linebacker on his ass. It was the most incredible play that you'll see a tackle do, and like they showed the replay, it was like, he put his foot in the ground like he's running a route. And he did it at 330 pounds.
He's the biggest freak of all freaks. The fact that he can do that and not fall over, not lose his balance at 330 pounds, and then go absolutely murder the outside linebacker or corner, whoever that was playing the edge there. If Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't get shoelace tackled, it's one of the biggest runs of the night, probably a touchdown. When Trent Williams retires, Penei Sewell will be known as the best offensive lineman because of what he's able to do, and he's only going to get better, right? Yep. Like, he's going to lose a little bit of that athleticism, but his brains, his smarts, his football IQ, that's all going to rise. His ability to be able to move like that, it's freakish. There's only been a handful of guys ever in the NFL who can do that, what he can do. But the other person that I want to shout out there is Frank Ragnow.
Yeah.
Frank Ragnow got rolled up twice on his leg and his knee, and his knee's hurting.
He's badass.
He blocked Vita Vea, a guy who's 6'2", 6'3", 350, 360. One of the bigger nose tackles, one of the better nose tackles. He was a big reason when they won their Super Bowl, how well he played inside. Frank Ragnow blocked him from his knees so they could score on 4th and goal when they absolutely had to have it. Frank Ragnow, again, he's going to be second fiddle because of how good Jason Kelce has been over the past 5 or 6 years. So Frank Ragnow always finished second, right? He doesn't get enough love, but you couldn't be more on where when you have a team that's going to win the Super Bowl, there's going to be an unknown guy or a guy that we don't talk about a lot who pops up. And the player that always pops into my head is for the Seahawks, because I love the Seahawks. I watch them. They're my team. Malcolm Smith.
Yeah.
Malcolm Smith had probably the best 3-game stretch of his entire career, and it got him paid.
Yep.
But because he stepped up in the most crucial moments, he was able to help push that Seattle team to that title, or at least be a major factor in it in the last 2 games. There's going to be someone that helps push these teams over because these teams are so good on both sides of the ball, offensively, defensively, special teams. There is no team in these Final Four that doesn't belong.
All right. Thought that was a worthy conversation. There's 4 guys right there that had incredible performances not a lot of people are talking about.
Because they
got their teams to the AFC and NFC championship.
Because they don't play the sexy positions.
No, they don't. Dre Greenlaw's the guy who probably got the most love, though, because 2 picks. But it was everything else. Like, the 2 picks are great.
We also got hate for trying to get us the over and the cover.
Darnell Savage dropped a pick 6 that hit him in the chest. Not as easy to snare those as one would think.
Right.
All right. Let's get to our worst day on the web. How long do you think it would take you to notice that you got shot in the head? For one man, a lot longer than I would think it would take me. First is Rust with SportsCenter.
Today's worst day on the web with Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Oh, really? That sucks.
I don't even know where to start with this story because it's bananas. We go down to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where 21-year-old Mateus Facio was enjoying New Year's celebrations. And I have to ask you this. If you were shot in the head, how long would it take you to realize you've been shot in the head?
Probably before I even got shot in the head.
Well, because you might be dead.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with pretty quick, Bob.
Pretty quick?
Yeah.
Right. Young Mateus here, it took him 4 days. It took him 4 days to figure out that he had been shot in the head. Well, he was walking down the street on New Year's Eve, and he felt what he thought was a rock that had hit him in the head. He thought somebody had played a bad joke on him, picked up and threw a rock.
Strong rock.
He said, you got me on that one.
He said, ow, that hurt. So he was with a group of friends.
How many people are throwing rocks at you all the time?
I've never been to Rio. I don't want to assume, but maybe lots.
Big rock throwing culture in Brazil?
Who knows? I don't know. I've never been there. But Mateus said that there was a doctor in his group, because I don't think this is helping the medical field or my thoughts on this entire situation. The fact that not only was a doctor in the group who helped clean the wound and say, get him back to action, but this doctor didn't realize he'd been shot in the head. A doctor.
Well, what are you supposed to do, Dusty? Go home on New Year's Eve in your 20s?
I don't know. Pretty. I think that, like, when you go to doctor school, they're like, God, that's a big hole you have in your head. That's not just from a rock. That's a hole in your skull.
What if it was a pointy rock?
But that's a big party night.
Making things a little bit more confusing.
Trusting them to be sober? What if it was a drunk doctor?
Mateus is a medical student himself.
Can't self-diagnose.
All right. So after his doctor friend patched him up and said, you know what, you're good here, he spent the next 3 days partying on the beach, swimming in the ocean, and then he drove 200 miles to his hometown before he realized that I don't think something's right, because he all of a sudden could not use his arm. His arm, he couldn't pick things up.
Partied so hard that we couldn't use our arm.
Yeah. So then after 4 days, he went to a hospital where they said, hey, bro, you've got a 9mm bullet lodged in your skull that somebody had just shot up into the air, you know, like, New Year's, woo! New Year's, pew, 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 pew. Bullet goes up, it never comes down, don't worry, it goes out to outer space. Wrong, goes onto Mateus's head, actually into his head. He's lucky to be alive. The bullet was compressing on his brain, which made his arm unable to use his arm.
That's also such a dude's rock kind of thing, though, to be like, I got hit in the head.
Yeah.
I don't need to go to the doctor until you can't move your arm. Like, that's such a guy thing. I haven't been to the doctor in 3 or 4 years. I'm not going to go anytime soon. Like, it would have to be my arm not moving or my leg not moving for me to go to the doctor.
Now, you want good news here? Good news is they went in, a 2-hour surgery, got the bullet out. Appears that everything's okay.
Yeah, he's healthy. It's all good.
Everything is okay.
No harm, no foul.
I don't know. I think if I'm like, professor at this medical school, I'm going, Mateus, I'm not so sure that you're doctor material here.
Well, it's not his fault. How is he supposed to diagnose a hole that's on the top of his head? He can't, like, go to a mirror and do that. Is he supposed to take a selfie and be able to tell there? It's his buddy.
It's his doctor friend.
His doctor friend.
His doctor friend.
I can get aboard. I can get aboard that train.
Dude is 4 days with a bullet in his brain, and they were worried about contracting meningitis. That wouldn't be good. Leakage of cerebral fluid did not happen. How about going and swimming in the oceans down there? And, like, you open wound straight to your brain. Yeah. Got a pathway here right to the brain.
Saltwater bad for wounds?
Well, not only that, just out there chumming the waters for the sharks.
Dear God, that is actually terrifying now that you say that. He's out there just, and I wonder, did his doctor friend like mummify his head? Did he wrap it up really well? Because I'm assuming if you're the type that goes 4 days without noticing that there's a bullet in your brain, that you're probably not bandaging that bad boy up.
I'm going to guess his doctor friend was probably also a football coach, and he just said rub some dirt on it.
It's never steered me wrong.
Dude, this guy, and I don't know.
He was also probably drunk.
Is he dumb or the toughest SOB around?
Yes.
Both.
Okay.
Both, yeah.
Both.
Well, look.
Just both.
Is it dumb to go and play in negative degree temperatures with your shirt off? Yes, it's really dumb.
I would say so.
But you're also pretty tough for doing it.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing here. And he's fine. No harm, no foul. Like, unless he has, like, complications that I don't know about, no harm, no foul, you're fine. It's a cool story. And from what my Little League baseball coach told me, chicks dig scars.
They do dig scars.
Chicks dig scars. So he can use that, like, why do you have a bald spot? It's not because I have early male pattern baldness. It's because I got shot in the head.
Yeah, shot in the head right there. Mateus Facio.
I'm glad he's doing well.
Damn legend.
Dude, he has to be. That's the best story of all time. At least in, like, that friend group.
Bullet to the head, 4 days. Good Lord.
In Rio.
In Rio, no less.
I want to go.
He's from Brazil, so I don't think it's that big of a deal for him to go to Rio.
I mean, he probably thought it was okay with that giant Jesus up on the mountain.
That's what's been watching out for him.
Somebody's been looking out for him, that's for damn sure. All right, 503-864-6326. That's a Vancouver Ford text line. Danny and Dusty, Ortner and Dusty edition right here on The Fan.
Fan.
Bow to the masters.
Had to do it. You had to do it. For those watching on YouTube, we just crotch chopped the S out of this show.
Crotch chop.
The best part is we didn't say a word to each other.
No.
We just
You
did.
just both got up and did it.
And just dudes getting up and doing what dudes do.
That was such a dude's rock. I'm watching it right now on the YouTube. That's awesome.
Yeah, there was not a word that was said. It was just Degeneration X.
We got to make that into a GIF. That's fantastic. We jumped up, didn't even make eye contact.
I'll tell you what, I'm sure one of our streamers out there will take care of that for you.
It's just what you do. It's a feeling. It's a feeling.
It's a
You
vibe.
have to do it. As soon as the song comes on, if you are not crotch chopping,
Something's wrong with you.
your childhood sucked.
Sure did, Bob. Sure did, Bob. Hey, the fix is in. Scriptwriters of the NFL are at it again. This comes from Warren Sharp of Sharp Football. I thought that this is pretty peculiar. On the AFC Championship game officiating crew, Sean Smith will be the head referee. Okay? Now, you may say, why do I care? Well, Sean Smith favors the road team more than any other official in all of football. Okay?
He's on the Donahue.
Yeah.
He's the Scott Foster of the NFL.
Yeah, about that. So, Sean Smith is going to be in Baltimore where, I don't know, maybe the NFL wants Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl. Who knows? Just throwing it out there. But home teams have only won 40.8% of the games that Smith has refereed over the last 3 years. Okay?
Oh, wow.
No, it gets worse. That is the lowest win rate for any referee in all of the NFL. Home teams win on average 55.4% of the games. And they win 40.8% of the games that Sean Smith is the referee. Okay? Furthering that, you may say, well, maybe he's just on games where the home team is bad and the road team is good, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wrong. Because against the spread, it's just as bad. Teams against the spread when he is officiating are 17, 29, and 3. Okay? 17 wins, 29 losses, 3 pushes. That is a win percent or a cover percentage of 37%. So you take good teams versus bad teams out of it, and you could say it's not that he's just refereeing a lot of Bears home games.
Right.
You know?
He's not a big fan of Detroit until this year.
The league average for home teams covering the spread is 49.4. So that's down 12% from the league average. This dude favors the road team more than any other official in all of football. And he's in the AFC Championship game in Baltimore as the Ravens host the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, clearly the fix is in. The NFL wants Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl. It's so clear. I might as well just take free money now on Kansas. Here's my thing. I have a really hard time buying this.
Are they getting out ahead of it? Well, you're having a hard time buying what?
Buying that
Facts?
the NFL Buying that the NFL would come in and say, let's put our version of Scott Foster.
No.
I can get behind facts. I'm not a fact denier.
Yeah.
That's not what's happening over here in this chair. But I still feel like, and this is what happens when you reach a certain level of greatness, where stuff gets skewed by the tinfoil hat community to, well, they won, of course, because of the referee that came in. Why did LeBron keep getting to the finals? Well, because Scott Foster came in and helped. Like it, to me, I just feel like there's a lot of people trying to connect dots that aren't correlated. But this is what you're going to hear about the rest of the week. And if the Chiefs win this game, it's what you're going to hear about the rest of the way, because people have now reached a level with the Chiefs where you hate them. You hate them like you hated the New England Patriots. And there's also a level of dudes out there that now hate them just because Taylor Swift is involved.
Yeah.
Which is dumb.
I thought that was an interesting series of nuggets that Warren Sharp went. It's not just straight up, it's against the spread.
Right.
Keep that in your little tickler. For bigwillbets.com.
I just don't think that there's a correlation.
Well, it's not To what? Well,
NFL wants the Chiefs to win.
Nobody's saying that. Nobody's disagreeing with you, Will.
Sends this guy in. That's not true. There are people who will disagree.
Well, what is happening is this guy who's really damn good at his job. Right. First of all, because the NFL does a really good job of putting their best officials. Bill Vinovich has been announced as Super Bowl referee. He's
greatness,
the best. But it's just an odd little quirk, and officials have their biases, whether they know them or not. I think this means calls are going Ravens' way. Warren Sharp puts this out there. League knows it. Mm-hmm. They're going to be like, hey, bro, come on. This needs to be number 18 on the win column. 18, 29, and 3. That's what Chiefs fans are thinking right now. They're like, oh, great. Now we're going to get duped. Go the other way.
I'm telling you, dude, we still have people that are bitching about Sodgate in the Super Bowl.
At the Super Bowl?
Yeah, you think that they're bitching about the Sod father.
Well, hey, everybody,
Sodgate.
All Ravens fans can flock around this theory, and then all the Chiefs fans,
cargo pants, purple.
Yeah, all the Chiefs fans, you can complain when your team loses that Sean Smith wasn't fair because everybody knew he favored the road teams.
That is the beauty of sports.
Just building in your biases.
Well, that's the best part about sports, finding dumb things to argue about.
I'm going to find a lot of them. All right, Sean Smith, writing the script for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Brother to John Smith.
Don't think
famous
that's
BYU
true.
punter.
I don't.
Oh, Dan Smith. I messed it up.
Don't. Okay.
There's a Key and Peele bit.
Yeah. Have you heard of Joseph Smith? Does that ring a bell to you?
I'm aware.
You went BYU punter from a Key and Peele skit, and you just glossed right over Joseph Smith, the founder of the Mormon religion. That's first team all academic GNAC right there. Hour number 3, we get underway.
American.
We get underway.
Student athlete of the year.
3 up, 3 down. Jeez, D2 baby. 3 great things, bad things from the weekend in the NFL next on The Fan. Jeff Rust singing again, and then my favorite part is when I get to look over across the glass and see you dancing to your own song.
Hey,
It's a good song.
Hey,
getting high on my own supply.
it's a banger. We know it.
Biggie Smalls told me not to do that.
Yeah.
Russ doesn't subscribe to the Biggie Smalls theory.
You didn't listen to the 10 Commandments or whatever that song's called?
Yeah.
Came on today at the gym.
Get high on anybody's supply. What are you going to do?
Equal opportunist.
Fine, I'll say it. Drugs are bad.
Yes. I wasn't talking drugs. I was,
Yeah, where did drugs come into this conversation?
Getting high?
Y'all want to buy some drugs?
It doesn't mean drugs. I get high when I work out. It's called a runner's high, Dusty.
It's false.
I'm
Lifting
sorry. Maybe
high?
I should have said smelling my own farts. Is that better?
There you go.
What do you have drugs on
Great
your
South
mind?
Park episode of the Prius owners smelling their own farts in South Park. All right. We do it every Tuesday at this time. It's time for 3 Up, 3 Down, 3 of the best, 3 of the worst things from the weekend in football. The divisional round. Look, this is sad. 3 games left.
Enjoy them while you can.
Enjoy them while you can.
And don't watch the Pro Bowl.
My first up is the Kansas City Chiefs running the rock. 293 yards in 2 postseason football games for the Kansas City Chiefs. Only 4 times all year have they rushed for 145 yards or more in back-to-back games. They've done it twice in this postseason. Run the rock in January, and you'll be playing in February.
First up, the return of the great Travis Kelce. 2 touchdowns, 75 yards, and all of Taylor Swift's fans now love you because you did the stupid heart thing that apparently she invented, I guess.
DeMar Hamlin. I love Bills fans. Like, hey, dude, how you going to troll DeMar Hamlin, dude? Dude died on a football field last year, bro. And you're going to sit here and you're going to troll him?
Football fans couldn't be dumber.
Nah, it's Taylor Swift. They're like, oh.
They do a heart thing. Oh, and then they hate on him for doing the Taylor Swift. Quit bringing her up.
I'm not
trying to
watching
watch
football. I'm not watching the Super Bowl because of that. You know how many people watch the
40
Chiefs?
million.
Nope.
Billion?
50 million people.
I'm sorry, I was off by 10
50
million.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, there are.
That's a lot of people.
I agree.
Between 9:15 and 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, that'd be 6:15 to 6:30 our time. 56 million eyeballs were on Chiefs Bills. Actually,
pretty big deal. And Travis Kelce,
112 million eyeballs. Actually, I don't want to assume. Maybe somebody had a glass eye. But
I need you to individually count every single eye that was on that game, please.
I can't. Incalculable.
Impossible. Mm-hmm. And with all those eyeballs on him, Travis Kelce came back and balled out in a big way. First up.
That's right. My second up, I'm going to go Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
He's an animal. In the postseason, he has 17 pressures on quarterback. The next closest, 11. That's a pretty big drop-off. It's a pretty big drop-off. Aiden Hutchinson has lived up to the billing. Number 2 overall pick out of Michigan, and he's rounded into form in a big way. And bad life choice if you're going to single block him, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Slide away from Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Literally led to a big sack in a key moment.
It's a bold move, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off.
Probably not smart. My second up is I've got sports media hosts because Brock Purdy played like garbage at the beginning of the game. Then he plays great at the end to win. And now everyone gets to decide, do they hate Brock Purdy and think that he's the worst ever? Or do they love Brock Purdy and think that he's one of the big reasons why they keep winning? So for the next week, they get to talk about Brock Purdy and is he good or is he bad? And then the next best thing is if he wins next week, you get 2 whole weeks to decide if Brock Purdy is good or Brock Purdy is bad. And it's all you will hear about for the next however long he keeps winning in sports media.
To infinity and beyond. That's a good one.
And in July, too. You're going to hear about, is Brock Purdy elite? A lot in July. Get ready.
Actually, that's a good one because I think we will hear about that a lot.
July and August, you are going to hear a lot about Brock Purdy and is he good or not. It's the new, is Joe Flacco elite? Is Brock Purdy elite?
I can't get over this, so I'm going to say it again. Jared Goff.
Yup.
His fourth quarter numbers, like he went 30 of 43, for 287 and a couple tutties. Good day at the office. His fourth quarter where he went 11 for 12, 131 yards, and a touchdown in the fourth quarter. It became crunch time, and he stepped up in the biggest way. And you can say what you want about both Brock Purdy and Jared Goff, but those two guys, they weren't dominant for 4 quarters. They were dominant for the most important quarter, and both of them played incredible football in the fourth quarter. So I'm going to give him my third up, Jared Goff.
My third up, it's Lamar. That dude went out and absolutely dominated. It seems like he's starting to get, or at least he was starting to get a little bit of the can't perform in the playoff kind of thing, doesn't win when it matters most. All Lamar has come out and done in that game was absolutely dominate. I feel like he's gotten to the point in his mind where he goes, I have 3 games left. It doesn't matter how many hits I take. I am going to run the football when I am presented the opportunity and no one else is open. And that's exactly what he did. He ran all over Houston, had 100 yards, I believe 2 touchdowns. And when guys were open, he was hitting them. I mean, some of his throws to Likely has turned into one of the, like, he is going to replace Mark Andrews in a year or two.
Incredible throws to Isaiah Likely.
And you're
incredible.
You're not going to skip a beat. I mean, the growth of Likely this year because of Andrews getting hurt has been gigantic, but it also is going to allow the team to move on from Andrews in a year or two when he starts to take a step back. Oh, by the way, Andrews is coming back probably this week, and so you're going to get to have the ability to use those two and Zay Flowers. Lamar Jackson is the best player in football this season.
For sure.
He's been absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
All right, my first down is one that I was banging this drum last week. Aaron Jones and what he was able to do to the 49ers defense on the edges. Mm-hmm. Not just did the Green Bay Packers run the football effectively against the San Francisco 49ers. Aaron Jones had 8 carries and averaged 10.875 yards on 8 carries outside the tackles. 10.875 on 8 carries outside the tackles.
That is a butt kicking.
You can be as good as you want on the edges as pass rushers. You have to be able to stop the run, and they got gashed. They have got to be better because Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, they're going to try to get the edge on you. Amon-Ra St. Brown motioning into the backfield. Josh Reynolds motioning into the backfield and getting them to the outside. That is where Detroit's going to want to thrive.
Penei Sewell polling. Woo! Going to be scary, and I think they can take advantage of that.
Big matchup this week.
First down. Look, it's the down that everyone's talking about. Tyler Bass. You have got to put that kick through. I know it's adverse conditions. I know that it's the biggest moment of your life up to that point. You gotta put that kick through the uprights. You've got to get your team into overtime, or at least the opportunity for overtime, right? You have to make that kick. And the worst part about it is it's not like you barely miss. It's not like you hit the upright. It's not like you didn't quite have the leg. That ball had no chance of going through those uprights.
It was close.
It was close. It was as close as I am to landing Margot Robbie. That thing was nowhere in the realm of possibility of going in. The minute it left his foot, you knew it wasn't going in. You have to give your team a chance. That is why you are brought in, and you can't let down Bills Mafia with another wide right.
Boy, either you think your chances with Margot Robbie are a lot better, because that was, I mean, it hooked a lot at the end. It looked like it was going at the beginning. Maybe that's what a date with Margot Robbie's going to look like.
We've got an eye doctor for you.
Yeah. Second down is going to be Mecole Hardman falling victim to the worst rule in football, but also 2 touches, 2 fumbles, -1 yard. That is the worst stat line you could ever imagine. Like, people are not giving Hardman enough credit. Like, the 2 people that were the happiest with Bass's miss were Stephon Diggs for the drop,
Damar Hamlin,
and then Mecole Hardman. Hardman's like, dude, don't look at me. We won.
The fake fun.
At least we won here. That was ridiculous. So, Mecole Hardman, you're my second down.
My second down is I'm gonna go with Baker. Now, here's why I'm gonna go with Baker.
Hater.
Not because I'm a hater. Yeah. Actually, I was very excited when he threw that last touchdown to Mike Evans. That won me a lot of money. Here's why it's down for Baker. Because I feel like he's going to get the treatment, even though he had a great game. 349 yards. He had more yards than Jared Goff. When it mattered most, it felt like he faltered, right? He tried to force a ball to his tight end, his safety blanket, when it wasn't there. And he had open receivers on the other side. He had Goodwin open, and he tried to force the ball to Cade Otton because Cade Otton had been there for him in the biggest moments. He is now going to go through another offseason where I think he's going to get the Geno Smith type deal, which is you are going to get a 2 or 3 year contract. It's going to have good money on there, but it's going to give us the opportunity to get out of it later. This is also a very deep QB draft. So for the rest of this offseason, unless all of a sudden Bowles comes out and says, no, this is my guy, which I don't know that he will. That's not the type of coach that Bowles is. Baker is going to have to deal with again, despite having a very good year and winning another playoff game and winning a playoff game for another team. Many quarterbacks haven't been able to do that. He is going to have to deal with questions about, is he the guy of the future?
Yeah.
That is why I'm going to give him my down. Not good this year. He was. But he's going to get a contract that they can get out of fast, and you're going to have to deal with it.
Yep. I agree.
It's not a down for his play. It's a down for what he'll have to deal with.
My third down is 3 games left. I'll keep it as simple as that. We only have 3 games left of football.
Football. I miss it.
Sad.
My last down is for you, the listener, because you're going to have to listen to conspiracy theories. We've already got the road referee.
Yeah.
Right?
Sean Smith.
We've already got to deal with the logo theory. Everyone keeps coming in. The logo, right? And guess what it is this year? It's purple and red, so that means San Fran and Baltimore. That's going to happen.
And the TV guide already says Super Bowl.
That's right.
Ravens, Niners.
Right.
Seems fishy.
Look, I'm out on tinfoil hat guy. I'm out on that person just in life in general. And I understand that every once in a while there's conspiracy theory that ends up being true. I really just hope it doesn't come true this year. I'm over it. I don't need the tinfoil hat. Let the players play and have your normal excuses. Blame the offensive line for not being able to block. Blame the defensive line for not being able to get after the quarterback. Blame your stupid quarterback for throwing a ball into double coverage. Blame your receiver for not catching a ball that you think your fat butt could have made the catch for when you get off your couch eating all those Doritos and nachos and whatever. I hate tinfoil hat guy. I just hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
All right, he's heading back to the NFL from the college ranks. And we're not talking about Jim Harbaugh. Well, we'll also talk about Jim Harbaugh doing that. But another guy may be doing it too. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
We like
yeah. Ultimate Warrior running down, just trucking along, then diving into the ring. Are you kidding me?
Just shaking the hell out of them ropes.
Dude. We may have to do Wrestling Wednesdays. I know it's Tuesday, obviously.
Dude, Wrestling Wednesdays? I'd come in and just hang out. I wouldn't even want to be on the show. I just want to hang out and listen to music.
Just for the music.
Do you think the listenership would just go up
might have to be
30,000%?
Wrestling Wednesday? Yeah.
Then you could dress up as a wrestler each time.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we got it. You ask, the P1s receive. Or you ask and the P1s give.
Yeah.
I have got a GIF from P1 Rufio.
Oh, they got us?
Of
crotch
us.
chopping?
The crotch chop.
Crotch chopping.
Dude, that's getting saved.
It's tremendous.
Yeah, it's really good, and I appreciate you. Okay.
That's awesome. Where is it?
I'm posting it right now.
You're posting it?
Oh, shoot. I don't know how to do this. Okay, I'll work on it. I'll get it.
Dude, I need this now.
We'll get it. I got this. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to save it to my computer here, but I'm apparently, I don't know. I'm frozen caveman lawyer over here.
Well, we need your help.
You mean it's in the computer?
Hey. We are Zoolander. Hey, Jim Harbaugh, it sounds like we're nearing done deal. Jim Harbaugh to the Los Angeles Chargers.
The Superchargers.
Yeah, the Super Duper Chargers. I don't see the audio that I'm supposed to play here, but I don't know if you got it. Mike Garafolo of NFL Network came out today and said, we're entering like final stages of conversations have shifted from what Jim Harbaugh's vision is, what he would be as a head coach, to now they are moving towards talking about coaching staff and who the GM that Jim Harbaugh wants to pair himself with will be in LA with the Chargers. Like, we're getting to the goal line here. Now, there's other reports out there that Pete Carroll's going, hey, you guys interested in a 72-year-old that likes to chew gum and win football games? Because I got you guy right here. And it's not Bill Belichick.
This guy.
But it sounds like we are nearing Harbaugh returning to the NFL and getting his second Infinity Stone, which is Super Bowl. And then I still believe Jim Harbaugh's mission in life is to win a college football national championship, a Super Bowl, and then win a bunch of high school state championships until he dies on a sideline somewhere.
No, 1,000%.
And I think if you were to ask Jim Harbaugh, he'd be like, yeah, it's a perfect way to go.
I want to die.
That's how I envision it going.
Well, especially if his brother wins another Super Bowl. He can't let his brother have 2 Super Bowls while he has none.
Oh, no, he's a thief of joy.
He has to have one. Well, I also think that there's a sick part about him that wants his brother to win the Super Bowl this year. One, so that he has to come back and try to avenge his loss.
Yeah.
But also, you would not be able to tell the story of 2024 without Harbaugh. And therefore, Harbaugh would become synonymous with greatness. Football greatness.
Damn. Just went crazy. But they would. It'd be college football and Super Bowl. Football runs through the Harbaughs.
Literally, no one would have it better than them. Literally, no one would have it better than them in 2020.
Their whole O'Doyle rules thing is 100%.
They are such a great family. I do wish, like, there's no chance. Harbaugh's not coming to Seattle.
No.
If I was a fan, I wish I was a fan of the Chargers so that I could experience him in his greatness, because he's just the right amount of quirky and weird that makes him funny without it being over the top. Like Sirianni.
Do you think he tries to be funny?
No, I think that's who he is. That's
Just
why
who
it's
he
funny.
is.
Because I think that Sirianni tries to be funny. Like the crotch chop against the Kansas City Chiefs. Can't hear you now. That's him trying to be aggressive, trying to be funny. Jim's just natural.
Yeah. The other guy making the jump to the NFL, potentially, Shane Hoffman is reporting this. So Shane Hoffman, freelancer, Oregonian, with our buddy Tyson Alger at the I-5 corridor, SB Live. He has this little tweet out, and I don't know what to make of it right now, but I'll just read you the tweet here. Hearing that not only is an NFL return likely for former Oregon coach Chip Kelly, but it could be in the form of a package deal with Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. Seahawks are a likely destination. Kelly would be the OC. Could happen elsewhere without Quinn too, of course. If not, however, he probably stays at UCLA.
Please.
That is the report there. Well, Chip Kelly's offense was good. He just was, taking everybody's pee and measuring the pee, and that didn't sit well with NFL players. He was not a leader of NFL men.
He was looking at the color.
But he could coordinate an offense, that's for sure. It'd be interesting. That would be an interesting one. Old Chipper up there in Seattle.
Here's my thing. If you're going to move on from Pete Carroll, why would you take Dan Quinn, who is a disciple of the Pete Carroll defense? Dan Quinn also, when you dive into the numbers, seems to be bolstered by turnover luck. Right? Not all turnovers are equal. Not every turnover is the same. When he has a defense that is getting after the quarterback, and when he's able to have corners that are ball hawks and separate the offense from the ball, he does well. When he doesn't, Dan Quinn struggles. For me, let's get fresh blood in there. Go after a Vrabel. Go after a Ben Johnson. Shoot, I could even be convinced into going after a guy like Eric Bieniemy. Get someone new in there.
His players tried to revolt against Bieniemy this year, though.
But only in Washington.
Because Andy Reid was the head coach in Kansas City.
Well, maybe he learned. People can't make mistakes, Dusty. What, guys can't have fun anymore?
No. How about this? Chip Kelly's 3 seasons in Philly, their Eagles ranked 3rd in points per game and total offense and 4th in rushing. They averaged 392.8 yards per game, 131 yards rushing per game, and 26.9 points per game in Philadelphia. So, the offenses were pretty good. I think you'd take that, right? You'd take that. But I don't know what to think of that. You heard Chip Kelly's name popped up a couple of days ago, too, as like, hey, he's drawing NFL interest. Then he just promoted. Like, you think of the turnover that he's had at his staff at UCLA, too. You have Gunderson going from UCLA as quarterback's coach up to Oregon State, be the offensive coordinator and quarterback's coach. Ken Niumatalolo, who he just promoted, and the former Navy coach, by the way. He is... I believe he is now the front runner for the San Jose State job, or he was named San Jose State.
I think that's a good hire.
Replacing Brent Brennan.
I think that's a good hire.
You going to run the triple option, or what are you going to do there?
Well, it's San Jose State. You're going to get lesser players anyways, and you're going to get lesser Mountain West players. Like, you're not a hotbed. Not a lot of kids want to go to San Jose State. If they're going to go to Mountain West, they're going to go... more to like a Boise State or a San Diego State.
Or
what's wrong
Oregon State or Washington State now, if we're being quite honest.
That's the Pac-2, but yeah, you are correct there. Yeah. So go get someone who runs a funky offense.
Hey, the Fan invites you to play in the first annual Fan Winter Golf Classic at X Golf Tualatin, X Golf Vancouver. That's Tuesday, February 27th. Sign your threesome up now. You can choose from either the noon round or the 4 p.m. round at either X Golf location. Danny and I will broadcast live from X Golf Vancouver. Isaac and Suk live from X Golf Tualatin. Winning threesome gets a free foursome this summer at the 10th annual Fan Golf Classic. The last place threesome, they will receive a free X Golf lesson because you need it, damn it. Go to 1080thefan.com for more info and sign up your threesome today. All right, Kyle Whittingham has a big ask. What do you think it takes to fund a contender in the Big 12? That after Rust with SportsCenter.
Now, from the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by LaRogue Brothers Jewelers. Every engagement ring in stock is up to 70% off. Visit LaRogue.com. First on The Fan, the Trailblazers continue their road trip tonight in Oklahoma City against the Thunder. 5 o'clock tip on Root Sports. Blazers are 13.5-point underdogs. Both Shaden Sharp and Moses Brown are out. Multiple reports say the Bucks have fired head coach Adrian Griffin in just his first season. The Bucks are tied for the league's second-best record at 30-13. Joe Prunty will take over on an interim basis. Doc Rivers, the early leading candidate for the full-time job. The Miami Heat sending Kyle Lowry and a protected first-round pick to the Charlotte Hornets in exchange exchange for Terry Rozier. Cavalier center Tristan Thompson has been suspended without pay 25 games for violating the league's anti-drug program. In the NFL, Pro Football Talk reporting former Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll is, quote, making a push, end quote, for the Chargers head coaching vacancy. Meanwhile, Mike Garafolo of NFL Network says the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh are, quote, in striking distance. And in the latest move out of Philadelphia, reports say the Eagles firing offensive coordinator Brian Johnson after a single season in that role. Philly already set to part ways with defensive coordinator Sean Desai and defensive play caller Matt Patricia. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Spirit Mountain Casino Sports Desk. Get to Spirit Mountain Casino Sportsbook, powered by BetMGM. For all the pro football postseason action, visit spiritmountain.com.
Your favorite fan shows are on YouTube. Mash the subscribe button and like us for live streaming video and 1080 The Fan on demand.
Pop and circumstance, man.
I believe the correct phrasing is, oh yeah.
Yeah, brother. Macho Man Randy Savage, yeah. The cream is gonna rise to the top, yeah. God, another wrestler dead. Dead or alive? Dead.
Yeah.
Just always guess. Did they wrestle? Dead.
Probably dead.
Did they wrestle? Are they The Rock, Stone Cold, or Hulk Hogan? Dead.
Although I think Jake the Snake is still hanging on, though.
Well, he was thumping his Bible and quoting his Psalms 3:16.
But I could be wrong.
Austin 3:16 said he just whooped your ass.
Jake the Snake Roberts, 68 years old, alive.
There we go.
Alive. I was thinking maybe Sergeant Slaughter, I think is who I thought. I think Sergeant Slaughter he died recently, right? Or is he still alive?
Did he get...
Nope. 75.
Ooh, you tried to slaughter.
I tried to kill him. Couldn't be held down.
Premature.
Yeah, still alive. How about this? We're finding all these alive guys.
Yeah.
Good for wrestlers.
Good for wrestlers. Hey, how much do you think it would cost to fund Utah football in this current this day and age of NIL?
Day and age, well, they're giving out trucks to everybody. So, I don't know, what, a couple $100 million?
According to Kevin Reynolds of the Salt Lake Tribune, Whittingham has gone to boosters privately and said Utah needs approximately $7 million per year to fund a championship level roster.
That's it?
He added NIL as a non-negotiable to winning.
Wait, so 7 mil in NIL or 7 mil total?
No, NIL.
Okay, thank you.
7 million in NIL per year. Because right now, like the reports are, you had Lane Kiffin saying 13 million. Well, Lane Kiffin retweeted an article that said 13 million, and all of a sudden people are like, Lane Kiffin's reporting it takes 13 million. No, Lane Kiffin is not reporting it takes $13 million.
He wants $13 million.
There was a report out there that Ohio State paid $13 million to keep their roster and go and pluck 6 guys that are all very highly touted guys out of the portal.
Right.
But I think if you're looking at the teams that, if you're built like Utah, I think that's a safe assumption there because they are a develop and grow. And then if you want to reap the benefits of a team for a special run, $7 million, that's going to keep around 5 or 6 guys to come back one more run, right?
Especially the way that they have to build a team because you're never going to be a top 10 recruiter. That's just not what they're going to be. So go on the path of developing and then use that money to keep the guys who are already there that you've developed. And then maybe every 4 or 5 years, if you think you have a shot at a special, and I mean special QB in the portal, then maybe you take that risk because there's a clear drop-off when Utah has a special QB and a normal Utah QB. I would call Cam Rising a special college quarterback. I think that you can win a title or at least get close to winning a title with a quarterback like Cam Rising. This year, because of injuries, you had a normal Utah quarterback. Shoot, at times you had worse than a normal Utah quarterback just because you were on your 3rd and 4th quarterback and they were still able to win at a high rate. I feel like Whittingham, he understands what Utah is and how to win there. And so I trust him. If he says it's 7 million, then it's 7 million.
Yep. I believe it.
And I jumped too.
And I don't even know if that's a championship caliber program. I think you need to be closer to 10 if you want to be a championship caliber team.
Well, the last championship game showed you that you don't necessarily have to have a top 10 recruiting class.
Nope.
You have to have a special QB, or in the case of Michigan, just one of the better.
Well, their NIL
4 or 5 year teams
through the roof, and then they paid to keep guys. Washington paid to keep guys. They developed and they grew.
Right.
That's what you got to do. All right, that's an interesting nug from Kyle Whittingham, and he seems like a guy. For all the reports a couple of years ago that he was going to step away, no man, that ain't it. I think he's adapting well to the new era of college football and being creative with it, with the trucks that they gave away last year. Now you have, hey, if we want to compete at the highest level. We need 7 million as a baseline for a championship roster. 503-864-6326. That's a Vancouver Ford text line. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online at vancouverford.com. gmail.com. This is Danny and Dusty, Ortner and Dusty edition. Next with more wrestling music on the Fan.
Is cooking. Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
Yeah, we got Little Rock over here. Not talking about Arkansas either.
I can do the eyebrow thing.
Good for you. Good for you. The Rock was a good one, man. I love these wrestling themes. This is a good little bit we got going today.
Yeah, I'll have to find a day where I'll dig a little deeper into some true classics.
Well,
deep cuts.
Didn't get. We had no Ric Flair.
No,
we had no.
Could get Charlotte Flair. It's the same.
Shawn Michaels.
Ooh, no, Sexy Boy.
No Sexy Boy. I ain't your boy, toy.
No Triple H.
Sexy boy.
I went mainly off the first suggestions from the texters and such.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You guys were great.
we can do a deeper dive next time.
Big
We
Daddy
will.
Diesel.
What'd you say?
Isn't that a wrestler? Big Daddy Diesel or Big Diesel or something?
Big Diesel. Yeah.
Big Diesel. My bad.
Yeah.
I apologize.
I mean, you could throw Daddy in there. I mean, that's fine.
You could do Goldberg's. I thought his name was Big Daddy.
Diesel,
You know
wasn't
what's
was
weird?
that Kevin Nash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Big Diesel.
Yeah.
I saw actually a video yesterday popped up on my timeline. Jelly roll. You know Jelly roll?
I love me some Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Jelly Roll's good.
I love jelly rolls. They're so good.
Have you seen Jelly Roll's wife? I think she was a former stripper.
Bunny something or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jelly roll and Bunny, get the hell out.
No,
Yeah.
Bunny's
Well,
her last name.
The whole video was
She's
about
hot.
She goes, "Hey daddy, do you ever call me by my government name?" He's like, "No, that'd be weird." She's like, "Do I ever call you Jason?" He's like, "No, it'd be even weirder." And I just saw that video and it was about that short. It was like 10 seconds long, less than that.
They're a weird couple.
And I thought to myself, what a weird thing to call your husband daddy. Like if my wife called me daddy, I'd be like, no, let's
not one of those guys, huh?
let's not go down that road. But
All right,
then,
well, I don't want to creep you out too much.
oh God,
You get called daddy?
I get called daddy at home.
you get called daddy?
Yeah.
Mandy calls you daddy?
Yeah, the girls would call me dad, but she'll call me daddy.
Daddy.
I call her mom sometimes. I'll just yelling out, "Mom!"
Well, yeah,
hey, Mom."
no,
But
no.
yeah, but she actually, and she doesn't go, "Hey, dad." It's daddy.
Daddy.
Well, hold on. How does she say?
Call you
Is
Big-
it like
Big Daddy
that? She's
Russ?
like, "Hey, daddy."
Yeah, well, depends
daddy,
on what time
come
of
here.
night it is and how much Tito's has been consumed.
There we go. But the whole the regular name being daddy. Like if my kids are around, I'll be like mom, and I'll say that to my wife. I usually just call my wife.
Yeah,
Like wife.
let's call it, "Hey, woman."
Damn.
I didn't want to make that joke. I'm so glad
Yeah.
you did.
All of a sudden, it turned into 1950 in the Rust House.
Make me a sandwich.
Make me some macaroni and cheese.
We're gonna have to cancel Rust again.
Yeah, he's uncancelable.
That's true.
I tried yesterday.
The man called his backside a butt fro today.
The butt fro cannot be canceled.
I don't feel like he is going to be canceled here.
Oh goodness. Yeah. We went on some journeys today, didn't we?
Boy, it was a
We should rename this show Magellan because we went all over the world.
all over the world.
We saw some things.
Woo. Well, Daddy, thank you for those wrestling themes.
Big Daddy Rust.
Chase the
See,
week.
there we go. Yeah. Big Daddy Rust.
Don't get excited when I call you that either. Like that makes
Well,
me
what else
feel
is
even
he
more
supposed-
Too
uncomfortable.
late.
What else is he supposed to feel?
I'm excited.
Big Daddy Rust likey.
A daddy like you.
Yeah. Here's a text.
Moving on.
My wife will call me by my first name in front of the kids, which I think is worse than daddy. In front of my boys, I always say, "Hey, mama," or "Your mom." Your mom.
Has he ever, when I was a kid, my parents, they both referred to each other by their names around us in the house.
Like first name?
Yeah.
I don't know what my parents did.
I feel like when my parents were married, if my mom said, addressed my dad, it was "Damn it, Andy." I feel like, which is probably why I prefaced that with while they were married, I don't really remember much.
Let's say my brother's fiance, she now has adopted mom and dad for my parents, which I think is fine.
And yeah, thinking back, like my Uncle Mike, he always called my Aunt Virginia, rest in peace, by the way. He always called her mom, like around the house. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was going to go somewhere else,
Yeah.
Just like, hey. What did you say her name was?
Virginia.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's like
Good old Aunt Virginia, just like in the Everclear song.
40-year-old virgin where it's like, oh, Gina, that's a nice name. It's Gina.
That's such a great movie. We did a disservice by letting Steve Carell realize that he's a good actor. He needs to go back to being in more comedies.
He's just good. I'll watch him in anything.
Dude, I watched Date Night and Get Smart last week.
Yeah.
He is so dang funny.
I started rewatching Space Force the other day.
You rewatched Space
Yes.
Force.
Space Force is fine.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's fine.
I mean, what is
No,
it? Foxcatcher, where he went serious on us.
You
Might be about
Foxcatcher.
right.
Yeah.